Well, hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having an awesome week and Happy New Year again. Here we are. So excited to help you to usher in a fantastic new year. Welcome to 2023. Here we are, Rita, already well into week two, almost into week three of the new year. So, what does that tell us?
Time flies.
Time flies, right? Time flies. So I'm really excited to be able to spend some time with you all today. We have a great show in store for you, and I'm so excited to be able to chat with the one and only Rita Esther. And many of you know Rita. She is a lifesaver member of my team. And so we work together very, very closely. And so Rita and I decided to go live together, right? And so what we're going to talk about is reaching your goals and how to make small steps towards your big dreams, which I think is especially timely given we're almost into week three of Q1 2023. And so, really, the ultimate goal is how to set your own goals, how to set yourself up for success for an incredible year, both from a personal as well as a professional standpoint. So, we'll be sharing some tips and insights on how to stay motivated and organized and just how to go about the process. So, we'll be sharing some of our own strategies that each of us individually implement to help us to stay on track. And I'm sure we'll be sharing a little bit of behind the scenes, behind Leslie Vital International, and how we remain cohesive as a team, right? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Many of you probably know Rita, but I'm going to just have her do a quick intro so that you guys get a sense. For those of you that haven't met her, Rita, tell us just a little bit about yourself and what you do, and yeah, a little bit about your story. It's always
Sure. So I'm Rita. I live way down in Louisiana, and I am a complete tech nerd. I learned HTML back in the 90s as a hobby, if that gives you any insight as to the kind of person that I am. And I worked as a marketing director and sales manager in a Fortune 500 company for 12 years before I eventually started my own business doing online marketing and sales funnels and branding and sales pages. And Leslie and I started working together, I want to say in 2019. I did a sales page for her, and that was just the beginning of now, like years later, I'll do so much more, but that's where it all started. And sales page design remains one of my absolute favorite things to do.
awesome, and you're brilliant at it.
Thank you.
So I do think it's, I mean, I gotta just say, so, well, let me tell you, in the 90s, I was not learning computer code. Let me just tell you, I was not. So, so I'm always curious and delighted when I come across people that, I have both sides of the brain firing, right? Because that's what you have.
Mhm.
That's your gift. And those of you that know me know I've had a few tech traumas over the years, like website disasters. I mean, I seriously could write a book even before. I mean, Rita, you don't even know half of it. You do not. I could seriously write a book. But anyway, the thing that's really cool is to have someone such as yourself who's got the creative side, right? Like the design and the tech. And that's really what it takes to do the job that you do. So
my dad's an engineer, and I think that those genes passed down with the whole like how things fit together.
yeah,
And on my mother's side, my grandmother was a beautiful artist. So I guess I just got the best of both.
that's incredible. Yeah, that's really great. All right, I'm delighted. So, guys, so we are gonna learn. We're gonna be talking about several things. We're gonna talk about how to break free from super complicated goals, right? Like where you look at them and you go, "OMG!" Like where do I start? Raise your hand if you can relate. I know I can. Right? Where you've got these lofty goals and it looks great on paper. But when the implementation comes around, it's a different story. So we are going to be talking about some ways to help you to break that down into manageable pieces and really so that you can stay on track. We're going to uncover the secrets for staying motivated and focused on your dreams. Really, so much of that is mindset, right? Really getting out of our own way in terms of what is going on between the ears. We're going to talk about how to prioritize and make the most of your resources, understand the value of goal setting, and really how it can make such a difference. And we'll talk about how to gain some insight on staying organized to accomplish what you set out to do. And, I want to preface this conversation today just by sharing a little bit about my observations. So I have been in this role as a business coach, consultant, mentor. Oh my goodness, I really find this hard to believe, but it's been 9 years.
Wow.
9 years, full time, more than full time. Okay. So 9 years ago, I made this transition. I closed my nutrition practice and made the leap into helping other entrepreneurs, health practitioners in particular. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed is the big struggle that I see is lack of structure, right? I would love to get your feedback if you can relate to this. I know I could relate. Like when I had my nutrition practice, the reality is if I wasn't seeing clients, I was really not doing a whole lot, to be honest. It was like either I'm working in the business or I'm like out doing errands, right? Or doing laundry or, out having fun. So I'm just speaking from my own experience as well. I didn't really have a process in place initially to work on the business, growing the business, right?
That's a huge piece of it that, as an entrepreneur myself, it's easy to get caught up in doing all the things, like you said, in your business, but not necessarily working on the big picture and where is this going and what's the next step. And you get caught up in, checking off your to-do list.
Right.
And then I don't know about yourself, but for me, I would be like, oh, I did a lot. I deserve to go shopping a little while.
Yeah.
I deserve to take a break and just go to Starbucks and hang out.
Right.
And you have that freedom as an entrepreneur
Exactly.
to do that. And it took me from going from that employee mindset where I don't have anything on my to-do list to the business owner mindset to, okay, now that the little stuff is done, let me look at the big stuff.
Right. It's really true. Yeah. And I think some of it has to do with perhaps not knowing exactly what to do, right? Because obviously, as health practitioners, we don't have training in how to be entrepreneurs, right? So if we're not like researching on a case or getting those certifications and studying and all those things that are kind of more on the clinical side, I would say, chances are we're probably not doing a whole lot, or at least not consistently, right? So that is one of my big observations in terms of the struggles is just kind of an overarching lack of, and it's not, it's no judgment because I used to do it too, right? It's just not having a system in place to help you to wake up every day and go, okay, I know what I need to be doing.
But even if you go to business school, what you learn in business school today will be outdated by the time you graduate with technology. Like it's all, I mean, the I guess higher level concepts are the same, but like the day to day, it's outdated by the time you finish.
Oh, completely. I finished in 2012, 2013. Yeah. And like so many things are different now. So now a lot of this is not rocket science. So that's the good news. You guys did the hard work. You did the hard stuff, right? Like you did the stuff that the average person cannot do. Now we want to bring it home and kind of close up that gap and get you moving forward so that you can, you can like optimize the business side and just kind of have things running like a well-oiled machine. So every day, I mean, wouldn't this be great? Every day you wake up and you're like, okay, it's Tuesday. I don't even have to look at my calendar. I pretty much know what I need to get done today because that's just how organized things are. And you just know what needs to be done on any given day, right? Like what are the tasks that need to be checked off? And what are the things that that need to be done? So I want to talk about that a little bit, just to maybe, the hope is to help move you guys forward. And to that end, so Rita and I just thought we would have a conversation about this. So I'm just going to put it out there, and I'd love to hear your feedback as well. What do you think are the most effective ways to set goals and measure progress? So we're gonna talk through this, and I want to get everyone that's here. Let's interact and let's exchange ideas, and let's see what we come up with. So I'd love to hear from you. So Rita, what do you think?
So, we all operate differently. And for me, it's really easy for me to get overwhelmed if I think too far ahead.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to literally work quarter by quarter. If I
Okay.
look at the whole year, then I get overwhelmed and it's so many steps. And then I'm prone to get like really into the weeds with like a detail, like, well, I need this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
As if, let's say I were building a house, I would want to have even the paint color picked out before I even laid a foundation, right? That doesn't work.
You get a little ahead of yourself.
Yes, I want to over plan. And so
Okay.
what I've learned with myself personally is just to stick to what's in front of me for this quarter, put my blinders on, and maybe have a general idea for what I would like to have happen, in a year, 5 years, 10 years, but not specifics. So that's what works for me. And then I work backward from that. So if this quarter I want to achieve X, Y, and Z, then I work backwards. Well, if I have, let's say I'm launching a group program. If I launch a group program, well, then I need a membership site. If I need a membership site, I need to buy the URL. And then I literally work backwards to where I am right now and create a to-do list from that with weekly tasks that need to be completed in order to execute that.
Yeah, I love that. So, I mean, I think I'm in alignment with that, and probably many that are in our audience today, and also those of you listening to the recording, can probably agree that when you I don't do an annual plan. I really don't. I mean, what I do, there's a caveat. Like I will look at my annual revenue goal. So I will do that. And, I'll look at where I came in the year prior. Where do I want to come in here? In the new year, I'll look at that gap, right? And consider that. And then I do, and I highly recommend that everybody does this, because it's one thing to just come up with a number and be like, okay, well, this is my number. It's another thing altogether to say, okay, so where's it going to come from? What do I need to do to achieve that number? Like, how many private clients do I need to book? How many, group program enrollments or launches do I need to do hypothetically? Now, guys, that's forecasting, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know exactly how things are going to turn out, but I promise you, if you take pen to paper and just do very simple calculations on what it's going to take, how many programs do you need to sell? How many enrollments? How many? Just do a ballpark, and I promise you it will pay off in spades, because at least then you know it. And this is just the financial end. So this is forecasting. And that way, you can keep track. And if, you can revisit the numbers every month. And, if you start to fall off track, you have time to go back and, kind of recalibrate, right? Which is super important. So I do personally recommend that you look at your annual revenue goals, compare it to, just kind of do just little number crunching, and put that number down, like write it down.
And
So it's
speaking of number crunching and financial goals, depending on your email service provider and the way that your business is set up in the back end, and this is where I love this sort of thing personally, like data analysis, analytics. Anyhow, if you know how much money in revenue each email is worth or each lead is worth,
yeah,
business, then you know how many leads that you need each month to reach that goal.
yeah,
So I know that, let's just say, this isn't the accurate number because I don't want to put Leslie's business out there, but let's just say that every email subscriber is worth $50 in revenue each month for Leslie. Then we know that we need XYZ number of emails every month to reach those monthly goals and annual goals. So just a different way of looking at it.
yeah, yeah. What I love about it is we're quantifying what is it going to take, right? So I think that's super important. And Mimi brings up, Mimi, hey, how are you? Mimi likes the idea of quarter by quarter planning and working backwards, and I think that is super helpful. And guys, she also, so Mimi mentions one of my worksheet. Some of you may have seen this. I'll do a quick screen share and we can share the URL as well. Let's see. Am I able to do a screen share here? Huh. Oh yeah. Okay. It says present.
Yeah.
Slides. Let's see. I don't have slides. My computer. Let's see how this works. Oh, I don't want to upload the file.
Let's see if it'll let me do it real quick.
Let's see.
Screen. And here we go. I'll share
your screen. Okay, I got it. Am I doing it or are you?
I'll stop sharing.
All right. I didn't see the share screen. Okay, guys, bear with me. All right, here we go. It's weird. It's under present. Okay, share screen. And let's see. This could be a little scary because I'm not really seeing what I'm sharing. Entire screen. Okay, window. Here we go. Wow. Okay, guys. You know what, Reed? I think you need to share it because mine is not, the PDF is not showing.
There we go. Can everybody see?
There we go. That was easy.
All right.
So, I have Rita in my life.
All right. If y'all can see, there's a link there scrolling across the bottom also that you can download your own copy of this.
Yeah. So yeah, now I know some of you have seen this and I would love to get a little bit of feedback on what, how useful it's been, what your ahas are. But let's just review this momentarily because I do find that this is a great way to plan. My philosophy is simple is better. Okay. Simple, I think, wins every time. So I love quarterly planning. I have done 6-month planning, but my preference is quarterly. So, all right. So let's just talk about this briefly. I think the first step in planning is to take a look at where things landed in 2022. I mean, right? You got to just kind of consider what went well, what was a great accomplishment, maybe what was a disappointment, what didn't quite go as well as you had hoped, right? So let's just kind of put that on paper, right? Really think through those particular items. And then that is going to help us to plan for a successful new year. So again, knowing that I prefer simple, because you get too complicated, you go down a rabbit hole and it just doesn't, I don't think it works well. And the reality is, guys, I know I've said this before, but it's not like you're trying to get investors in your business where it has to be like super detailed. You're not. You are just, this is a tool to help you to plan and to stay on track, right? So that you're not getting distracted with the shiny gold objects that come your way. Okay, just like Rita said, we kind of want to have blinders on so that we don't get distracted. So the reality is the recommendation, anything that isn't on your list here, postpone it. I would say no. If it is not, if something comes up and it's not going to contribute to one of your bigger overarching goals for the quarter, then I would say no. I'd have no trouble saying no. All right. So that's where planning can really help too, because it just kind of frees you up. All right. So this is where you're going to take a look at your numbers, right? You're going to look at your numbers from 2023, look at your numbers at 2022, just kind of look at what that gap is. And then just do simple calculations, figure out what do you need to bring in for the quarter, and then what is your monthly goal. Okay. And then now there's a couple things I want to point out with in terms of ways to grow revenue. Number one, you can increase your price. Okay. All else can stay equal. All the other variables stay equal. If you raise your price, you will make more money. Number two, get more volume, right? Obviously, everything else being equal, if you increase the number of people that you're serving, you will make more money. And really, the third thing is adding a new revenue stream. Okay. So those are very big picture strategies with many, many, many tactical steps, right? So, but it kind of gives you an area to say, where should I focus, right? What's really going to be the driver for my business? You could do a combination. You could go, I realize my pricing is just too low, which my guess is many of you are probably in that boat. I'm guessing most of you want more volume. And I'm also going to guess that many of you would love a new revenue stream, right? Like, a membership. I'm hearing a lot of my clients, especially yesterday, right, Mimi? We were talking about in one of our masterminds, Income Accelerator, we were talking about how to build out a new revenue stream via a membership program, right? And so many of my clients and students have that as a primary goal. So really just take a look at, where you want to focus. And then this is pretty straightforward. You essentially want to, and again, this is quarterly. So maybe just pick out 3 things that you want to focus on. I mean, it could be increasing the volume. The more specific you get, the better. So if you can look at what your volume looked like last year, right? Have those numbers in front of you. Like, how many clients did you serve? How many inquiries did you have? It'd be awesome if you had that at your fingertips. And that way we can make it measurable, right? So we know then, like, we can make a specific goal around, well, okay, so how many, what kind of volume in terms of inquiries do I want to go for in 2023? Maybe it's your closure rate, right? So maybe you're getting lots of inquiries, but maybe for whatever reason, you're struggling in, getting yeses. And that's pretty common too. And especially, if you've got like programs and packages, there's a whole system to, getting people excited about committing for a longer term working with you. Maybe your issue is retention, right? So maybe we need to focus, we need to take a look at how long are people sticking around. So if you're in the one-off session model, as an example, there's some actual data on this. Monique from Eat Love shared this with me. In the one session at a time model in the world of nutrition, I think she said it was 1.88, maybe to 2.0 is like the average number of visits to, I think it was a dietitian, or I'm pretty sure it was dietitian. So like less than 2 visits is the average in that business model. right? So obviously that is a real problem. So my recommendation is take a look at your retention. How many visits, like what happens to people when you see them maybe one session, what happens next, right? Rita, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Definitely. Um, and this, of course, I'm in an entirely different niche, in a service-based niche. But
Right.
if all I did was say, yes, Leslie, I can build you a sales page, and that's it, I would be completely done with Leslie in 2019. But instead, I said, hey, do you also need social media graphics for this? Do you also need blah, blah, blah?
Right.
And before you know it, I'm working with Leslie pretty much full time. So
Right.
it's the same thing with your clients. What is their next logical step? And then offer it to them, or package your stuff into packages, like 5 or 6 sessions, or a 3-month, package, something like that. People are looking for that. And
Yeah.
if you don't offer it to them, they can't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, as practitioners, of course, we know that this kind of behavioral change does not happen in one session.
Mm-mm.
It does not.
So you're doing them a disservice if you don't insist on multiple visit packages.
I think so. I really do. I'd love to hear from our audience, just out of curiosity. And no judgment, zero judgment ever. But I'm just curious, like, do you guys offer packages? Are you doing the one session at a time, or maybe a mix? So when I had my nutrition practice, I actually did have a kind of a hybrid, because I did some MNT for pediatrics, right? And so it was a little bit different. But that being said, where I really drew the line in the sand completely, I had no problem with this, was working with, like, chronic dieters, right? Like, who are always on a diet, that type, right? If they didn't want to commit to a 90-day program with me, they weren't my right client. And I was so fine with that. I was A-okay in letting them go, because I knew that it would just be frustrating for me, because they wouldn't get results. I'd never get to see them through that experience. And, they're not going to get results. So, like, that's not going to reflect well on me either. So that's how I started that's how I started the process of moving into programs. So I just picked a particular population where I knew that, I was really, really comfortable and confident in just honestly just turning people away if they weren't ready for that 90-day program. Because the reality is, at a certain point, they usually would come back. We're like, yeah, I did get too far trying to do it on my own. So let's try to do this. Right. Yeah.
Being in the Income Accelerator with you, Leslie, and in some of your other programs, I'm in the back end of things helping. But this does come up a lot with your coaching clients, and a lot of it comes down to confidence. Like, they don't have the confidence to offer these packages. And if this comes from a place of I need the money, then it's totally different than when it comes to the place of I'm on a mission and I can't do what I need to do for you in one visit.
Right.
And when you come across in that way, you'll find that the confidence comes a lot easier.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Yeah. I do think a lot of it, so much of this is confidence. So that's why my suggestion, for those of you that aren't in the program package model yet, I would just recommend, like, if you're so inclined, pick one piece of the pie, like one patient type where you're like, okay, I'm going to just start here, right? Because I know for sure 100% that anything less than, 90 days or even 2 months, they are not going to get results. And I'm doing them a disservice, right? And that way you can step in with that really powerful presence and confidence. So I think that's a really smart, thanks for mentioning that.
And Marley has a question in the comments. Um, she said, how can I pinpoint what things to say no to? That's a great question. She
Mm.
said, for example, my she wants to increase more patient load, more
Yep.
RDs, and feels like all the things mentioned will do that. But how do I narrow down the things so she can focus on one thing?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, and Rita, you might have some thoughts on this too, but yeah, because you can't do everything, right? So that's the other part of this is you really can't do it all. So I would look at, I mean, I always ask my clients when we are when we move in our private work together to marketing and we're to the point where we've set a beautiful foundation, they've got, all this everything in place. And now we're at the point where we want to start booking clients. My first question is, where is your low hanging fruit? Where can we get the fastest results?
Mhm.
Right? What do you enjoy doing? What are you good at? Where do you have reach? Right? I would look at it in maybe a two-prong approach. And guys, I know that most everyone nowadays is virtual online, right? That's been a huge transition over the past, especially few years. The thing I want to remind you about is even if you're virtual, even if you're online, don't overlook local opportunities for relationship building. Okay. So, or I mean, just relationship building in general. So, so I typically like to have, at least a couple of strategies. One or maybe a couple of business building strategies related to developing relationships, right? Perhaps in my local community. Um, it doesn't really matter how you do it, but I don't want you to overlook the relationship part because that is huge, in terms of generating referrals, cross referring, and it just makes it more fun. So even though you're virtual, don't overlook it because what tends to happen, and I see this a lot, is, as practitioners, we just kind of hide behind our computer, right? I know for sure I used to do this. Just saying, especially in the early days, I'm like, oh my God, just trying to figure out all the online stuff. Um, but you just want to be aware that you don't want to just focus only on the online business building stuff because in my opinion, I think the online stuff, I believe, I mean, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, I believe like social media, that takes time, right? It does take time to get in front of those folks on social media and eventually turn those people into paying clients. Like that is, does not happen overnight. So don't, don't be, I guess just be aware that you want multiple approaches. And so I would ask Marley, what do you think your low hanging fruit is? Because the thing is, we want to get fast traction. Like, where can you in your world go or leverage to get your calendar booked? And guys, remember, the thing that I want you to remember is what you're trying to do is get your calendar booked with discovery calls, okay, or clarity calls. I tend to call them strategy sessions. That, in my opinion, is really, and you want good leads, right? I'm not suggesting you just, talk to anyone with a beating heart and a wallet, right? Like, no, because that's not you're gonna end up resentful. No, you want qualified leads, you want good leads, but the end thing that you're after is booking your calendar with solid leads and having these awesome discovery calls so that you can actually enroll people into your program, right? Now, one of the things I talk a lot about, and it is really one of my all-time favorite things in the whole world to share, is the concept of multiple streams of income. Okay. And you guys may know, I talk a lot about the profit pyramid and, how that works. So I don't want to suggest that you need to have discovery calls to enroll clients into, like a home study kind of a program, right? Like a $47 thing. Like that's a different strategy. What that would entail, though, just FYI, is honing in on growing your email list. Okay. So if your goal, I would say really for anyone, right? Like regardless of what the service is that you're wanting to promote and book, whether it's high end or, more of a volume kind of a proposition, like a membership or, kind of a DIY, like mini course or something along those lines, I would always recommend that one of your goals is to increase the size of not only the size, but of your email list, right? So you really want to focus on growing that email list, but also really try to focus on engaging your email list and developing, again, it's the relationship. It's that trust, right? So, so I don't know if that helps. I'd love to, let's see. Okay. So Marley, so helpful. I know I do really well with community relationships. Awesome. And although I'm a great speaker, but it's so time consuming for me to prepare. Okay. So I do have a little tip on that. So here's what you want to do. And again, I don't know, Marley, I don't know your specific history, but this is maybe helpful for everybody. What I don't recommend is that you've got a whole bunch of different talks, like you talk to someone, they're like, oh, can you do a talk on such and such? The next person's like, oh, can you do a talk on this other thing? Especially when you're just starting, don't do that because you're going to just get spread out. I would have a signature talk, okay? A signature talk that is specifically designed to provide value for your target audience, okay? So that's what I would do there. And honestly, you just pull it out, right? It's like, okay, sure, I've got to talk. You might make a couple tweaks. You might change a bullet point or two, right? But in general, you've got that content ready. So it shouldn't be super time consuming. And the other tip I would share is be clear on why are you doing the talk? Like what is in it? Like what are you trying to accomplish? Right? Be super crystal clear on what that metric is. So I'll give you a couple of examples. One, you could use the talk as an opportunity to grow your email list, right? So you provide tons of value. You maybe you're able to collect the emails at the talk, right? Which is great. And then you follow up with, hey, thank you for attending, blah, blah, blah. Here's, a free tip sheet or, give them a gift or something that shows value. And again, moves that relationship forward. And then maybe, or let me say an alternative option for giving talks would be to invite them into a session. Right? So that's a whole nother strategy. But I just mentioned that because, guys, remember, I did a nutrition practice. I've done all the things. Before I knew better, I would get very frustrated with talks because I felt like I didn't get much out of it. Right? It's like, oh, sure, I'll do a talk, but, I'm not going to get anything out of it. Until I learned you got to set it up in the talk. You have to ask for what you want in the talk. All right. So that's just a little tip. All righty. So low hanging fruit. Yeah. I was really focused on that.
Speaking of that topic, I know my video is frozen. I can't figure out how to fix it. I'll figure that out in just a second. But I did want to say also, speaking of like doing those talks, I've worked with public speakers That's what they do for a living is
Uh-huh.
public speakers. So they're literally doing 1 to 2 talks a week. And in general, these people who do this for a living only have 3 to 5 talks. That's it.
Yeah.
And they just repeat those same talks and tweak it for the intended audience. But you don't need to have a different one for every single event. So just know
Do
that.
not. Do not. That's a great point. So, so I hope that's helpful for Marley and everyone. Yeah, and again, look for where you can get the most traction the fastest, because I don't know, time is money, right? So, maybe another way to look at it is, and Reed, I'd love to know kind of your thought on this, but another way to look at what strategies to hone in on is like, what can I get going really fast, like almost immediately? And what are some longer term strategies, right? So that's just another way to look at it.
Definitely. When it comes to that sort of thing, this is how I see it. There, oftentimes, for whatever reason, it's a mental block. We feel like in order to make money, it has to be hard. So we want to work on these hard things, and we put all the stuff that's easy and fun on the back burner. Like,
God,
I'll get
brilliant.
to that. And what I suggest, what I learned from a mentor years and years ago, is whenever you are planning and you're writing down your goals, you're going to have all these ideas come to you. Just write them all down without judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Then choose 3 for this quarter, and that's it. And make them the easy and the fun ones. You can do the hard ones next quarter. But whenever you start doing this, you'll find that you never really do get to the hard ones, because it's okay to make money and for it to be easy and fun.
How many of you can relate to that? I mean, seriously. Okay, so this is a mindset thing, but I've heard this verbatim from my clients. Like, Leslie, the thing that I struggle with is that unless I'm working my buns off and really sweating it out and am like, 24/7 and kind of miserable, I feel undeserving. Can you relate? It doesn't have to be that way, guys. That's why I say start with low-hanging fruit that's right there for you to take, right? Or leverage. And frankly, as a business mentor, this is why I don't have like a one size fits all approach. I do not. I never say like, oh, well, you have to do it this way. You have to do Instagram and you've got to DM people to death. Otherwise, you're not going to, no, never, ever will you hear me say that. I want you to do what you are good at, what you love, and what really brings you joy, right? And results. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Like, we want results, right? But you can have all of that bundled together. Now, every now and then, you might need to learn something that you don't love, right? Such is life. But focus on first, prioritize the stuff that kind of lights you up, where you think you can get results. Like, that's a win-win all the way around. So, case in point, I would love to know how many of you kind of feel like you're, I don't know, alone in this journey. Like, this used to be me so much. Like, I would be like sitting at my desk, just by myself trying to figure this stuff out. And I would run into like a decision point. Should I do this or this? Does this sound right? Should I do this? And it would just kind of stop me in my tracks, right? Let me know if you can relate. That used to be me. And there is a solution for that, guys. There really is. And I believe so strongly in surrounding yourself with other people who are trying to do what you are trying to do. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. Stranette, beautiful name. So Stranette says she can relate. Yeah, that used to be me. And it was like, I don't know. It was kind of depressing, actually, because it was kind of lonely. I felt like I was really
Especially
isolated.
if you're used to working in an office, or
Yeah.
in a clinic, and you have people that you're like, hey, good morning, let me tell you about my weekend, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you take the big leap and then like, okay, now what? And you start freaking out and maybe having a bad day and there's nobody to share it with or nobody
Right.
to bounce ideas off of, nobody to kind of keep yourself in check. Like, Rita, you're just being crazy. Like, no, that's not going to work. But we're human. We need support and a network. So
Yeah.
it's normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
That was me.
yeah, me. Oh, I don't know if I can. Oh, yeah, me. Yeah, that was me. Better since being in your coaching. Great. I'm so happy about that, Mimi. That is so good to hear. So consider this your formal invitation for those of you that want connection, community, and strategy, right? Business building strategy, actually from me and Rita. I think I know I'm a little biased, but a great solution that is within reach in terms of budget is the program called, well, you see the URL, lesliebytel.com/accelerate. So we've got a web page up that describes this program, but in a nutshell, it's a community income accelerator collective, an awesome community of healthcare practitioners and coaches, and really designed to help propel you forward and give you the answers you need, give you the feedback and the strategy and that sense of, just having a group to bounce things off of, I think is absolutely priceless. Just to give you a quick overview on kind of the logistics of this program. So we meet twice a month, once with me, and this is your strategy call. So this is where you can ask questions. It's Q&A and strategy. Okay, so that's an hour with me, and we do it on Zoom, so it's really nice and intimate. And then the second session is with Rita, and Rita does what we call a tech talk. Okay, and this is where you can get some questions answered around some of your tech challenges, which again I think is priceless because a lot of times it's the tech that can trip us up.
Yes.
And so Rita, give us tell us a few of those topics.
Oh, this is awesome. Marley says, I just joined and already getting a lot of value from it.
Oh, good. Yay.
Awesome. So for the tech talks, for example, we have talked about SEO. We've talked about Google My Business. One of the ladies, I just got feedback from this literally this week. One of the ladies that we implemented some of the Google My Business strategies that we covered, and she got a new client that found her on Google My Business and was never able to do that before.
Wow.
So again, SEO, Google My Business, landing pages, thank you pages, email automations. This coming up Tech Talk is all about Zapier and how you can use it, automate stuff like client onboarding or client offboarding or any of those sorts of things. So that way it just frees up more of your time. I love automations. And also, if you are struggling with something specifically, one of the ladies in the last Tech Talk shared a problem that she was having with her website, and we were able to get that solved for her as part of the Income Accelerator program. And it was just a really, in my world, a simple fix, but something that was really tripping her up, and she just felt like she couldn't move forward until she got that solved. So I think that the Tech Talks are just, for me, it's a whole lot of fun. I love doing them, and the ladies are just loving it.
Yeah. So if you ask me, it's a great combination. Strategy and tech, right? And community.
Yeah, and it's a super affordable price. I spend more on my Amazon orders randomly than this program is. So
$97 a month, guys. So it's super affordable, and I want to make it doable, even kind of regardless of where you're at in terms of your revenue. So consider this your formal invitation. I would love to have you join, and would really enjoy getting to know you better in that group. And of course, helping you to have a really kick-ass 2023. That's what it's all about, right? All right. So we're going to start to wrap up. I hope, I mean, the end, I hope this lived up to your expectations in terms of helping you to get clearer on where you're going in the new year. Since we still have this sheet up, I just want to, I want to nudge you, if you haven't already done so, just pick 3 things. Try to put it in a SMART goal format so it is measurable. And then pick, like, we want to also include milestones for each of those goals, right? I would say those milestones are like baby steps. Like, what are those little baby steps you need to take in order to get to this bigger overarching goal? And then make those time sensitive. And I would put that in your calendar, like by March 30th, I will do blah, 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 whatever that step is that you need to take to help move this process forward. So go simple. Really try to go simple. Like we're all clinicians here. And I think we kind of can get in our own way, myself included, right? Like very detailed. I don't think that serves us. Let's try to simplify it. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Pick things that you're good at, you enjoy, where you think you're going to get a big ROI. I would make that a priority, and just, try to keep it moving forward. Again, if you're looking for a sense of accountability and community to help keep this process moving forward so you can have a really great 2023, check out the Income Accelerator at lesliebytel.com/accelerate. All right. Anything you want to add, Rita?
Come on in. It's so much fun. It is really, I enjoy the Income Accelerator calls, I think, more than anything else. I just love it. The community is great. Everyone is so supportive.
They are.
And collaborative. Some of the people who are in the group coaching the group coaching are working on things together, like joint ventures and those sort of things. And it's a wonderful community. And unlike a lot of online groups that are free, there's not cattiness, there's not competition. It's a different environment. It's really, Leslie has created a wonderful group for you people. So join. It's fun.
Thank you. I'm an awesome client. So
yes, you do.
All right, guys. It was really fun spending time with you today. Enjoyed it tremendously. Hope you did as well. And gosh, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Awesome weekend. And I'll see you next week. All right. Bye for now.